everyone. Welcome. I hope your day is going great so far. Let's go ahead and get started with this tarot read. I'm being told the word letters, so we'll do our letters for sure today. I don't know if we'll do the numbers. We'll just sort of wait and see what my intuition tells me needs to come forward here. So we have I, and we have you. Seriously, tarot, that's what you brought forward. Like, that's pretty interesting. I and you. I'll see what else happens. We got Q. You know, Q has been coming out a lot lately, and I know, like, these letters have different meanings to each and every one of you guys. They might be initials for a name or a place. Q keeps popping out. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, this is fucking weird. I'm like, I wonder if it represents, like, questions. Somebody who's having questions. The letter C, the letter M. I'm still being told letters, so we're going to grab a couple more here. And we have a few that wanted to pop out. E, D, and K. And now I am being told numbers, so we are going to move on from the letters. We'll grab the numbers. So you're going to know if these have special meaning to you, if they spell out, you know, initials, or like I said, a short word. That Q, like I said, that Q keeps throwing me off, though. We got August 24 to 15. Actually, I'm going to move them like this, because I don't know if we're going to get any more months. That month might have a significant meaning to you. Something very important occurred. We got February 23, 13, and a couple more. Being told we got to grab a couple more of these numbers, and we'll see what comes forward for you guys. 19, 6, 4, and the month of March. So I'm being told the word stop, so we're going to stop there. And we're going to get going with your tarot read. I am getting pulled to this deck, so this is the deck that we each used for your read today. We'll see what the oracle cards come forward with before we get going with tarot. Never-ending story, observer, and unfinished symphony. So somebody is definitely struggling with some sort of a chapter of their life coming to an end and a new one beginning. It's a transition. That unfinished symphony tells me that somebody still has, I don't know if I want to call it unfinished business. It might just be sort of feelings that still are tied to that piece of their past that they're having trouble sort of processing or letting go of to be able to embrace the future. I want to know what that observer card represents, because I still can't quite place it. It feels a little bit different. We're going to grab more oracle cards. We do have Y. And exchanging gifts. Regeneration. I'm going to tell you, I keep getting this vibe from this observer card of like somebody on the outside looking in. And like, I almost wonder if it's spirit or somebody who's crossed over. Because it feels distant, but it feels like it's watching. It also feels like it can't quite just like reach out and touch somebody or tell somebody something or send a message. Exchanging gifts, regeneration. I don't know if somebody is the one who's struggling with this chapter of their life, with this transitional period, is sort of trying to speak to somebody who's passed over to ask for guidance or just try and express themselves in sort of what they're going through. I'm going to grab a couple more. That regeneration tends to represent a rebirth. And I do feel like there is the opportunity for that in this chapter of somebody's life, in that new chapter, that transitional period. It's like the opportunity is there. But somebody's really struggling to sort of embrace that because they're still dealing with everything that happened from the past. It's hard, you know. Shit from the heart is hard when we have disappointments, when we have hurts, we have losses. That is not easy to cope with. That's not like you just flip a switch and you're okay. You know, it takes time. Loyal heart, treasure island, clean it up. That clean it up is about sort of cleaning house, and most usually it speaks to emotionally. You know, this is not about, you know, mopping your floors and stuff like that. A lot of times this card just speaks to a need to release things that are holding you back. And it does speak to, like I said, those emotions, but thoughts as well, or patterns of behavior, patterns of thought. Being able to release that so that it doesn't hold you back from moving forward. Chaos and conflict. See, and this chaos and conflict card makes a lot of sense. As soon as I look at that never-ending story, I know that these cards are connected. I know that this is what somebody's feeling on the inside. They're feeling torn up. They're feeling perhaps confused about where to go in this next chapter of their life, how to handle this transitional period. The fact that they feel like there is still something unfinished as part of that last chapter, like it's something they weren't ready to let go of. Maybe circumstance was what came forward and brought this change into somebody's life when somebody possibly would not have made this change for themselves. Well, Heart Treasure Island, it represents that manifesting, that as above, so below. I'm being told, I don't know if it's by my spirit guides or whoever this Observer card represents, the person this read is for, who's going through this transitional period, they are responsible for manifesting a change in their life. So like this can change from, this feeling of why, this unfinished business, the grief, the loss, trying to process all these feelings. It can change from that into something positive. It's where this regeneration card comes in. It's like being able to turn it into something that's more beneficial to someone. I'm not saying, like, again, it's not like flipping a switch and it's fucking easy. The shit is hard. Having to deal with things like this is extremely difficult. But I feel like somebody's capable of doing that for themselves. I'm going to grab a few more. That one needed to come out too. Flexible. That's a really interesting card. I like this flexible card. It sort of speaks to being able to go with the flow, being able to embrace change. And I do feel like it's speaking to what's going on here. And it's not that somebody's fighting the change that's happening in their life. It's that they're just struggling with acceptance and processing it and being able to move forward into it. We do have co-create as well. Co-create. We got a couple of cards here that make me wonder. Co-create, loyal heart. I don't feel like they're speaking to the same energies, like secondary energies. To me, this loyal heart is very much tied in with observer and actually exchanging gifts as well. I do feel like it's speaking to whoever has crossed over, who's stepping forward into my cards to be able to deliver this message to somebody that they love who is struggling right now. This is somebody who, in the living world, was very much a support system for someone. And that hasn't changed. Now that they've crossed over, they're still there. They're still watching. They're still wanting to offer guidance, advice, love, and support. It's just, well, let's face it, it's a hell of a lot harder to do when you're on that side of things. Co-create. This co-create speaks to a living energy. I get a very cold feeling off of this card. And I do feel like it's speaking to why somebody's struggling. I think somebody had a heartache that had to do with a secondary energy, most likely a romance. With somebody who they were trying to co-create. There's something left unsaid too with this person. Like they didn't get to totally speak their piece. They didn't get to say how all of this has affected them, how all of it has made them feel. I have this distinct impression this co-create, this other energy, this other living energy is like emotionally cold and has sort of just like kind of severed ties and just moved on. And someone here is like, man, I poured my heart into this relationship. I tried to make this into something. In my mind, we were going to settle down. In my heart, we were going to build for the future. And then this person just sort of ups and walks away like it doesn't matter. And that's the vibe that I get from this co-create card. They're very cold. The impression that they are giving, whoever this read belongs to, this never-ending story card represents, is a very cold shoulder, very uncaring. It's like not thinking about somebody else's feelings round and round. Okay, and this isn't the first time. I'll tell you, this isn't the first time that this has happened to somebody. Because we do have round and round. So I feel like repetition of cycles. It's somebody is looking for their soulmate. Somebody is looking to settle down. They're looking for, the one. That one person who is for them. Mending, community, peace. And I'm going to tell you this too. Whoever's been doing this, who's been on this hunt for their soulmate, because this is something they very much desire in their life, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Everybody wants to have some sort of a connection. It's like, I do feel like possibly other things have taken a back seat during these journeys, because I have this distinct impression of somebody throwing themselves into a relationship. You know, because they want it to work in their mind. They're looking at somebody and being like, hey, is this somebody I can build a future with? I think I see the potential there. So I'm going to do my best to make it happen. I'm going to do my best to steer it in that way. And like I said, I feel like other relationships have kind of taken a back seat. I don't know if this is friends or family or both. But I feel this need to be able to mend those connections during this time as well. I'm going to grab a couple more. Oh, and then 2 popped out. Message in a bottle and to the sea. So message in a bottle, that I'm sorry, but that is this tarot read. That is this message that's coming forward from somebody who has crossed over, who needs to be able to speak a piece. To the sea. You know what I see in this card? More than anything else is one figure by themselves looking very lonely. Sorry, but that is what stands out to me the most in this read. And I feel like that's speaking to where this person is at. This person is like, will I ever find love? Will I ever find this love connection? This is something that's very important to someone. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, guys. It's just like there are other relationships that are still important in their life too. These friend relationships, these family relationships that might have, like I said, taken a bit of a backseat because someone was very much trying to make a go of something. And I feel like if this is what I'm being told, so I need to tell you what I'm being told. If this relationship is a soulmate connection, if this is something that's going to last a lifetime, there is still room in your life for these other relationships. Your other relationships should never have to take a back seat to whatever this is. It should all be together. You should be able to have everything in your life. Whoever this partner is, they should be someone who's supportive of that, because that's something that you would support in somebody else's life. Them being close with their family, them being close with their friends. So it makes sense that if you find the right person, that right person would have the same values as you and would support you in keeping strength in these relationships. Inner peace. Okay, we're gonna grab tarot cards, and I'm getting pulled over here, so these are the ones that we're gonna use for your read. Woo! We had a bunch come flying out here too. I'm gonna grab these guys because they popped up, but we're gonna start with the ones that fell out. So the first one that popped out that I noticed was this King of Wands. So you were dealing with a player energy. You were dealing with a time waster. You were dealing with somebody who wasn't willing to put the work in like you were. You know, you're looking for that soulmate connection, that forever connection, that stability, somebody to build with, set down roots with. Whoever this was who you were trying to co-create with, this person was not of the same mindset. That's not where they were at. That's not what they were looking for. I don't feel like they made that extremely clear to you. Maybe towards the end they did. But I have this impression that they did the breadcrumb maneuver. You know, because we do have the Four of Wands. It is the marriage card. And I feel like this person sort of strung you along. Strung you along, wasting your time, having little comments about marriage, little comments about a future together, but overall in their behavior didn't reflect that. So their behavior was still, you know, being selfish, being self-centered, going out and partying, not being supportive of whatever you're going through. Cold. I just keep feeling like cold. Like if you were going through shit emotionally, like if you had a family member pass, or you had a job loss, or a fight with a friend, or whoever the fuck, whatever this was going through, I do feel like it bled into other relationships. And like there was some conflict, there was some chaos there. I don't feel like this person was very emotionally supportive. Like I don't feel like they were like, I'm sorry you had a bad day, honey. Like, come here, let me hug you, tell me all about it. I don't think they were like that. I think they kind of just left you on your own to feel whatever it is you were feeling without really participating in that. They were not that support system. I just keep feeling like cold, like emotionally cold. The Ten of Swords. I do feel like you were betrayed by this person. Like they told you one thing when their intention was another. The Queen of Swords. I don't know if at one point you were like, just tell me what the truth is. Just tell me if you're willing to settle down in this. Just tell me whatever. I know that now you're like, I wish this person would have just told me from the beginning, so I never would have wasted my time. I never would have bothered getting my heart involved. I never would have bothered investing. The Death card, it does represent that transition, closing the door on one chapter, beginning a new one, and that is where you're at. You are on a new chapter. You are starting a fresh chapter of your life. The High Priest, okay, this High Priest, this is the person who's crossed over. This is whoever that represents to you. And it is somebody who would share wisdom with you in your life. I know it's coming forward with the High Priest, and it has a picture of a male on it, but I don't feel like it is necessarily a masculine figure. This might have been a woman who was in your life as well. But like I said, I'm being told the word wise. I don't know if they're telling me that. They're tooting their own horn. But this person had some good... They had some good wisdom. They always had some good wisdom to impart when you were going through some shit and you had to go and talk to them. I have this impression that you didn't always want to hear whatever advice they were telling you, because sometimes it just, I say, it didn't line up with what you wanted to hear, but it was what you needed to hear. This person was good. Whoever they were very good at giving advice and giving guidance. 7 of Wands. I keep feeling like, especially with that 9 of Cups, and in this deck, this 9 of Cups always gets me. Usually it's like wish fulfillment, but the image on this card usually tells me a different story than wish fulfillment, and it's doing it today too. It's like, keep hooking up with the wrong energies. That's what I'm being told. You keep hooking up with the wrong energies. I don't know if this is something this High Priest told you when they were alive too, a piece of advice that they gave you, that you keep hooking up with the wrong type of people when it comes to romantic relationships. And they're coming forward, that Knight of Wands, they're coming forward in a player energy. You can't have a 10 of Cups or a 2 of Cups with a player energy. This 10 of Cups, this 2 of Cups, these are deep connections. These are long-lasting life connections. This is talking about your feelings. This is being each other's best friend and shoulder to lean on when shit gets rough. That does not exist in a player energy. And I feel like, I don't know what these people look like, if they have the same physical traits that you tend to go for, the same sort of personality traits. Maybe they're a little bit more assertive or whatever, or a little bit more confident in the way they step forward in speaking to you, and that's sort of what attracts you. Whatever it is though, it's like, it is a red flag, and I feel, I'm being told, you need to start recognizing it as a red flag and the beginning of a new cycle. Because you might not be done dealing with energies like this. You might have more step forward in your life. So I feel like there's a distinct need to learn a lesson here. I'm not trying to be harsh, guys. I did the same thing. I had to learn the same lessons too. It's putting heart and soul into everything, because you're looking for that future person, instead of taking it slow, taking it easy, and really assessing who it is that you're involved with and whether this person is actually worth putting in that time, energy, and your heart, guys. Because a lot of times you can tell early on there are red flags, where if you would tell your heart to shut up and you'd listen to your intuition is telling you, hey, that's a bad idea. This is not going to get you what you want. Because I ignored my intuition a lot of times in the past. This was a lesson that I had to learn too. It's a lesson that a lot of us wind up having to learn, because we want that connection. There's nothing wrong with wanting that connection. I feel like there is a need here to recognize those red flags earlier on, to save yourself the heartache, to save yourself putting your heart and your soul into a relationship and having it sort of go this way, because you're giving that energy to the wrong person. The 5 of Swords. Yeah. And I do feel like this is something you've dealt with in the past. 5 of Swords, 4 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, 7 of Swords. These are people who will deceive. These are energies who hold back. These are energies who breadcrumb, who waste your time, who keep you from moving forward and keep you from coming into this 9 of Pentacles. This is a time for you. Feel like this is a time for you. And that's part of the message behind here, that whoever this person is who's crossed over wants to bring forward. This is a time to find happiness within your own skin. This is a time to be able to be okay being alone. To be able to sort of embrace these other relationships in your life. That might be friendships, they might be family, it might be both. And to be able to find something rewarding within that. and to be able to be comfortable being single until the right person comes along, so that you're not wasting your time and you're not wasting your energy. You're saving it for somebody who deserves it. We're going to grab a few more cards here too. Justice card popped out. The Justice card speaks of fairness. It speaks of balance. Having it sit next to the Nine of Pentacles too is not an accident. This is part of the message too, is finding that balance within yourself without a secondary energy around. Once you find that stability, that balance, that happiness within yourself, being single, not sort of needing that secondary energy, that's probably when the right person is going to come along. The Sun card. The Sun card does represent blessings, and the Two of Swords. You know, these two cards coming out together tell me that you're wondering if you're ever going to find love. If you're ever going to find that happiness, if you're ever going to find those blessings. We're going to grab more cards. I know you will. There's someone out there for everyone when you're ready for that person. The World card. See, your world, this romantic world of yours is going to change when you come into your own. This Queen of Pentacles is reiterating what the Nine of Pentacles is talking about. It's that self-confidence. It's that self-worth. It's that being comfortable in your own skin, being okay with being by yourself, not accepting anything less than, loyalty and honesty. Those core values that you have, that every time you give to a partner, not settling for less than having that in return. This player energy, this somebody who's not supportive when you're going through shit, who sort of just leaves you to cry on your own. That's crap. That's crap. It's like demanding that you have somebody who's going to give you the same that you give them. And in the meantime, it's okay to be by yourself. It is okay to be by yourself until you find somebody who's emotionally mature enough to give you what you need. I have the King of Cups and the Four of Cups here. These two cards, I don't know if they're speaking to the past or if they're speaking to a future person, but I know they definitely do reflect what you've gone through in the past, and somebody who is extremely emotionally unavailable, completely untapped into their own emotions, so they don't know how to deal with yours because they don't deal with their own. We got the Wheel of the Year, Two of Pentacles. That's what it is too. Absolutely. That wheel is going to turn when you can find balance within yourself. I just have this distinct impression of taking time, of enjoying your life, of nurturing these other relationships in your life that might have fallen by the wayside, being able to just be your authentic self, love yourself, take up whatever hobbies you want to take, invest your time in you and those closest to you. And when that changes, I have this distinct impression that sort of, how do I say it? It's like a big part of you is going to start changing. The energy and your aura is going to start changing. And that's what's going to bring in somebody who's supposed to be there. Unfortunately, it might attract a few duds, so do not forget the lessons that you've learned here, because you may have to exercise them before the right person comes along. But I do see new beginnings. I see Page of Cups, emotional offering. See the Two of Wands, a new path forward. This is what's going to be the change for you. Taking time for yourself in every single one of these cards. That's what they're telling me. Taking this time for yourself is going to be the game changer. Taking this time to look after yourself, to do for you, to be your own best friend. The Ten of Wands. Taking time to unload these burdens and to not feel like you have to have somebody around all the time. The Tower card. Everything happens for a reason. I 100% believe that. Even this thing that you went through, it happened for a reason. This is trying to show you that this is a pattern. This is a cycle. It's trying to show you that it's time to move on to something new. It's time to move into a new way of being. That Moon card says to delve into those things in your subconscious. Why am I attracted to these kind of people? What do all these people from the past who have gotten me the same result have in common? There's your red flags. Being able to say that. The Eight of Wands represents swift change. I definitely see that. I also am given the word communication, but I don't feel like it's with anybody else. I feel like this is you communicating with yourself, being able to look into your subconscious, to find why you're repeating this pattern, to find the commonalities in the pattern, and being able to keep those in mind and moving forward when you are healed and ready for romance again. But I have this distinct impression that it's important that you take some time for yourself and to find balance within yourself before you step into something new. This is the message that this high priest is bringing forward to you today. Alrighty guys, I hope that you enjoyed that read. If you did, please hit that like, that subscribe. It definitely helps the channel out. Have a great day, everyone.